I'm Dawn, Infection Prevention, and I'm here to talk to you about the new Versaflo Papr. This is the new unit, and it's a powered air purifying respirator. It's a positive pressure respirator, and we use this here at Elkhart General for airborne transmission-based precautions. So anybody that's put in airborne precautions for things like rule-out TB, disseminated shingles, chickenpox, measles, conditions that are transmissible by airborne, we would use this type of respirator to care for the patient. So this Papr is going to, we're going to get these Paprs from materials or maintenance or distribution, and they're going to come up on a cart, an isolation cart, and there'll be 5 Paprs on the cart, just like the old Paprs were. And they'll come fully assembled with the belts, the breathing hose, the HEPA filter, which is a high efficiency particulate air filter, already assembled on the unit, and the batteries already attached to the Paprs. The old units had batteries that you had to plug into the carts, and the nursing staff had to manage that themselves. These Paprs, you will not have to do that. Distribution will be in charge of managing all of the battery charging and maintenance. So basically, just want to show you the components of the Papr itself. So this is the breathing hose. It can be detached from the Papr by turning it counterclockwise and just detaching it from the Papr system. The belt is on the back of the Papr. You will not have to do anything as far as detaching it or reattaching it to the Papr. Distribution will be in charge of doing all that, so it'll be fully assembled when you receive it. The battery is on the bottom of the Papr. It has a little purple button here on the side that you just depress, and the battery will detach from the Papr. The battery has a button on the bottom of the battery that you can test the battery life by depressing, and you can see how much battery charge you have. All the batteries will hold their charge for 12 hours while the Paprs are fully in use. So if you have anything less than 4 bars on your battery life, you should exchange your batteries in distribution for a new battery. It's okay if your batteries are less than 4 bars and you have to go in the room and care for the patient. When you come out, just go ahead and call down to distribution and exchange your battery out for a new one. To put the battery back onto the Papr, you just match up the gold bars together. There's a little lip on the bottom of the battery. You just set it inside of the Papr and click in. It's very simple. Again, inside of the Papr itself is the HEPA filter, which cleans all of the particulates out of the air and ensures that you're breathing nothing but clean air into your lungs. So how does the Papr work? Basically takes all of the dirty air circulating inside of the room, pulls it into the motor unit, the Papr itself, filters out all of the particulates out of the air, takes the clean air, blows it up into the breathing hose, into your headgear, which is attached to the breathing hose, and then circulates the clean air around your head. Your respirations, because this is a positive pressure respirator, are then blown out through your headgear. So this is positive pressure. So there are 3 areas where we cannot wear these respirators at EGH. And because these are positive pressure, one of those areas are any sterile fields. So OR, IR, and then anybody who's doing a sterile procedure in a regular room, we cannot wear these. We would have to wear an N95. And you do have to be fit tested to wear an N95. The other 2 areas where we don't wear Paprs are MRI because of the metal in the Papr, and then our code team are all fitted for N95s as well. You cannot pick and choose which of the respirators you can wear when caring for a routine airborne precautions patient if you are fit tested for an N95. The N95s are stocked at the bottom of the Papr cart. So just because you are fit tested for an N95, you do need to wear the Papr while caring for a routine airborne precautions patient. You should know that these Paprs are 99.97% effective at filtering the organisms out of the air. It's a higher level respirator, so it is better for you to use than the N95 respirator. The N95 respirator is only 95% effective at filtering the particles out of the air. So you definitely should choose this over the N95 when you are routinely taking care of airborne precaution patients. To get a Papr card, I already said you go ahead and call materials maintenance. If it's after business hours, call nursing supervisors and they will get it for you. When you're finished with your Papr card, it goes to be decontaminated at the old area where you used to drop it off by the morgue. I know Decontam has moved over to the West Wing area, but distribution has taken over the responsibility of deconning these carts, and you can still drop them off at that old area where you used to drop them off at. So how do these units work? It's very simple. Again, they're going to come fully assembled except for the headgear. The headgear you're going to find in the third drawer of the Papr carts. They all come with this plastic that's attached to the face shield, and you're going to want to remove that plastic before you put your headgear on, or you won't be able to see very clearly out of it. So remove the plastic first, and then go ahead and visualize the headgear and make sure that there's no obvious tears or cracks in the face shield. Make sure that the elastic is nice and taut, and that the internal components of the headgear are all not broken or missing any pieces. The internal parts of the headgear for the Versaflo are significantly different than the AirMate. You're going to see that they are adjustable so that you can adjust them to match the crown of your head. You're all going to love them, I can guarantee that. The power button for the Versaflo is right here on the top of the Papr, to the right side of the Papr. And then there's a fan button right here as well. What's really nice about these Paprs are that there are indicator buttons here, so we can actually visualize how much battery life we have, how much our filter life we have left, and how much fan speed we have. We have 3 fan speeds for the Versaflo. We have low, medium, and high. So it meets all OSHA requirements, but it actually gives you a little boost of air if you're feeling a little confined inside your headgear. So to turn the Papr on, we just press down on the power button and hold it down till it beeps, and then the Papr will turn on. It's going to go through some checks and balances, so you give it a few seconds to do that. And then once it's fully on, everything's going to light up to let you know that you have a full battery life, you have a full filter life, and that it's operating on its lowest setting for the fan speed. I'll go ahead and show you how to turn up the fan speed. You just depress the fan button until it beeps, and then you can move up to the highest or second highest fan speed. And then to move up to the highest fan speed, you would depress it again. To move back down to the lowest fan speed, you would depress it again, and you would be back down to the lowest fan speed. One thing we have to do just once a day, significantly different from what we had to do before, is do the airflow check just once a day while these Paprs are in use. So to do that, you just remove the breathing tube by turning this counterclockwise and just pulling up. The airflow indicator looks different. It's not a little black bullet this time, and it's based on our geographical area and where we sit above sea level. So because we're not all interested in that, we just put a little sticker on here that says that this ball needs to float at or above the letter H for 1 minute. So we just insert this into where the air comes out of the Papr, and you can see that the ball is floating at the top of this airflow indicator. And truly it only needs to float at the letter H or above the letter H for an entire minute. So just once daily, you're going to do this for all the Paprs on your cart while they're in use. There's going to be a checkoff sheet inside of the Papr carts that you can document on for each day that your Paprs are in use. Then you can take that out, put the airflow indicator back in the bag, and back inside your cart. The second test that we need to do to make sure that your Paprs are working appropriately is the low flow alert test. So these Paprs are really nice because they will let you know if your filter's being blocked or if your airflow is being cut off. So it's really important for us. The other Paprs didn't have this type of technology. So there's 3 ways that this Papr will let you know that. It will register a red alert on the indicator, LED indicator. It will sound an alert tone, and if you can't hear or you can't see, it will start vibrating on your back. So in order to test this, we just need to block this airflow off. And we do that by covering up the airflow with the palm of our hands. The Papr is going to rev up like an airplane. You can see the red LED indicator light. You can hear the alert tone, and you can hear that it's vibrating. Once all 3 of those things have occurred, you can remove your hand and the Papr will return back to its normal state. It takes a few seconds for that to happen. Once the Papr returns back to its normal state, you can see that all of my indicators have gone into sleep mode. So I can't really see what my filter is doing or what my battery life is any longer. If you want to see what your battery life is or what your filter is, just go ahead and depress the fan button just once, and those LED indicator lights will pop back up for you. They'll go back into sleep mode again, and that's okay. But if you want to see them again, you can just depress it once. Be careful not to hold the power button down completely, or you'll turn the unit off, and you don't want to turn the unit off while you're inside an Airborne Precautions room. So now that everything is working correctly, you can go ahead and put your unit on. So you want to insert your breathing hose back into the Papr and turn it clockwise to lock. And then you want to hook your headgear into the breathing hose. And you do that by just inserting the headgear into the breathing hose and snapping in. So it's really important that you pick the whole unit up by the actual unit and not by the breathing tube, because we don't want this part to snap off and the whole unit to hit the ground. So the best way I've found to do this is just by picking up the whole unit and wrapping this entire tube around my neck. And then what's really nice about these units are they actually have these little grab bars on the belt for you. So I take this whole unit and place it behind my back. These Paprs should fit at the small of your back, right above your bum, not on top of your bum. They'll fit better if they go right here at the small of your back. And then you can go ahead and grab your belts from side to side and wrap them around the front to snap in. They're adjustable on both sides, so you just push and then pull. They're new, so they might take a little adjusting to work with the belts. Or a lot of adjusting to work with the belts. And then you just take your head cover off. What's really nice is they have these little tabs right here that you can slip your finger in to help position the head cover under your chin. Remember that this part goes under your chin and the sides go in front of your ears. So you can just hold the top part and just pull your face into the head cover. And then you just adjust. This one just snapped off a little bit, so I'm going to take it off and show you what happened here. So if this happens to you, don't fret. You're not inside the room. There's a little snap inside of here that just snapped off, and you just snap it back together. Nope, that's not the right place. There it is. There's a little hook right here that you just snap that right into. There we go. So again, and this might be a little tight, so I'm gonna hold this out a little bit for me. Remember, these are fully adjustable this time for you, so make sure that you're adjusting it to your head before you walk in the room. Everything's right for you. So again, I'm gonna put my head in. And now I'm ready to go in the room. Patient can fully see my face. I can fully talk to the patient. I'm going to wash my hands, walk in the room, wash my hands again, probably because I touched the door handle, but I'm a little obsessive over that. So I'm ready to see the patient. Can walk out of the room, wash my hands. Remember, while you're in the room, don't reach inside of your head cover, and wait till you're out of the room to turn off your unit. Once you're outside of the room, you can turn off the unit and remove your headgear. Couple of key things to remember as far as disinfecting these units go. You're working with airborne precautions, so the microorganisms in these rooms are really not transmittable by contact. So you really don't have to worry about disinfecting these units every single time you're walking out of an airborne precautions room. If you have a patient that's in airborne plus contact precautions, one, you're going to wear a gown, and that gown's going to be under the Papr, not over the Papr. Two, you are going to disinfect this unit using either the PDI wipe or the bleach wipe. We must do that because we live in a hospital and we have to take care of those microorganisms. For your headgear, it is a good idea to go ahead and disinfect your own headgear. If not every time that you come out of the room, but at least once a shift, especially before you store them, because you don't want your own flora growing nice little organisms inside of that science experiments. So when you're done with the whole Papr, you can go ahead and shut the system down, and you do that by depressing the power button, holding it down, and the unit will shut down. Again, when you're done with the entire system in the Papr cart, they need to go down to decontamination to be fully deconned. And that's about it. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to your trainers on your units, or you can always contact infection prevention. I hope you enjoy these.